Hey everybody, we're Geeking Out Ninjas, and we're here to geek out. Hey Craig, what's going on, buddy?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, making
Just
it
a
making
little
it
bit?
through the week.
I hear you, man. I'll tell you what. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I was taking a nap before we recorded this.
It's true. I was afraid when you didn't respond back like 30 minutes before, or 30 minutes after I texted you. I was like, oh no, where's
Yeah.
Jeremiah?
Yeah. It's been an interesting week for me so far. So I was napping on my couch prior to the start of this. So, but I'm here. I'm awake. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Let's do this.
What's going on? Do you have a pre-cap for us, or is it too early?
Yeah, we can do a recap if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to talk about what's new. I'm not going to really delve into that. We're going to talk about a Pixel car, saying goodbye to painful neck strain, and we're going to talk about our 3 must-have video games if we were on a deserted island.
Yes. Well, we are going to talk about mine, but yours as well.
Yes.
So
talk about everybody's.
So let's talk about you, because you have something exciting coming up next week. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, it's kind of a spontaneous thing.
Well, that's a good thing.
This is, it's how I live my life. One spontaneous event after another.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Going on vacation to New Mexico.
Nice.
So I try and always travel somewhere around my birthday. So next Friday is my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like getting out of town and like going to nature for that. And the place that I wanted to go, I couldn't because it was a little too far away and it was going to take too much time to drive there and get back and all that stuff, and only leave a couple days to actually do something. So obviously Easter is on the 4th. Sunday.
Correct. Right.
We're going to leave that night after Easter. And then on the 10th, which is Saturday, I have my second vaccine shot. So
you gotta be back.
Like a 5-day window to like fit something in. And so New Mexico's pretty close. I'll be honest, I've never really thought of New Mexico as a destination. It's more of a place to drive through when you're going to Colorado or somewhere else.
Right.
But I mean, there's some pretty interesting ancient ruins that I'm looking forward to going to see.
Nice. So where in New Mexico are you going?
Pretty much all over the place. We're gonna go to like Carlsbad Caverns, which is real close to Texas, and gonna go to White Sands and all the way up to Aztec National Monument, Aztec Ruins National Monument, which is real close to the Colorado border, kind of the 4 points or 4 corners, which is actually closed right now. That park, the Four Corners Park.
Is it gonna open up or no? Did it catch COVID?
I'm sure it'll open back up at some point, but so we're kind of going all the way from the southeast to the northwest of New Mexico.
Nice. And so y'all are driving, I assume.
We are driving.
Okay.
We're not driving my vehicle. My vehicle is actually getting fixed.
Again?
Not again. That's the first time it's being fixed.
I thought it was trying to get fixed before.
No. So someone backed into me. A very drunk person backed into me in December.
Okay.
While I was parked. The fun
okay.
Yeah, the fun part about that was I had stopped just right in front of a cop car. And so this person backed into me and I hit the cop car. Luckily, obviously he was wasted and no charges pressed on me. Nothing happened to me.
Sure.
His insurance is paying for everything. Luckily, he had fantastic insurance. And so, it's just taken 4 months. I just dropped it off yesterday. It's taken like 4 months, and I probably won't get it back until the end of April.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
is that because it's a Tesla, or is that just because they're backed up?
I think part of it's because they're a Tesla. it's a Tesla, and they are the only certified body shop that in San Antonio that works on Teslas. So it's weird to go there, and it's almost like a Tesla graveyard. Obviously, they're all being worked on, but it's like parts missing from cars here and there, and
nice.
It's a fun little experience. What's interesting about that to me is that so in the Tesla app, you get notified if you leave your door open, if you leave your window open, the trunks, stuff like that. So I'm getting notifications like crazy, like both trunks are left open, the driver's door is left open. I'm like, I don't care right now. I don't have the car.
Well,
but I don't want to turn it off either, because I also want to make sure that they're not going to like drive it somewhere. Not that they would, but
right. Keep a track on it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, speaking of New Mexico,
yes,
since our 3 favorite episodes, or episode on 3 favorite TV shows, I should say. Yes. I don't know. Again, I'm waking up.
That was almost a great segue.
Almost a great. I'm working on it. Almost a great. So I have since then watching Breaking Bad. I'm gonna. This is weird. I think I've seen it before. and when I look at my Netflix, like it shows all the episodes watched.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest.
I
don't remember a thing, and it's like I'm watching it for the first time. And I don't know if that's just because I'm stupid, forgetful, or what, but whatever. I'm enjoying it. And so that's pretty much all I've been watching since you talked about it.
Yeah.
Or we talked about it, I should say. So very exciting stuff if you haven't seen it.
I would kind of love to be you and not remember Breaking Bad and watch it again and just get that experience all over again.
Oh, you know what I love about it too is that a lot of the scenes are just very, because we talked about the creator is, from X-Files, and like the shots that they have and stuff is very X-Files-esque.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving it for the second time, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So I'm having a blast watching it. So
are you watching it by yourself?
Right now I am. So as soon as I'm done, my wife will be on board. Because and I think what happened was we watched it together, the first few episodes, and then she stopped, and I must have finished it. Again, my Netflix says I've watched all these episodes.
Are you sure it wasn't your kids?
I'm almost positive that, because I don't think any of them have watched it yet. So, the wife will be on board, which also leads to what else is new. It's been kind of a rough week. Yeah. She was diagnosed with diverticulitis. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I had to look up what it actually was.
Yes, it's a very painful diagnosis.
Apparently.
Very painful. In fact, I did learn an interesting bit, and I told my wife this. I don't think she knows who Brock Lesnar is, so I sent her a picture, and I said, this man had to sit out a MMA fight because of it.
Oh, maybe that's where I've heard of diverticulitis before.
Yes, and so she said she's either a big wimp or a badass for the pain. And I was like, no, I said, you're a badass. I mean, that's pretty painful. If a professional athlete, that is like bulky, like, I mean, just Brock Lesnar's
he's a pretty big guy.
Pretty big guy.
Doesn't mean he's tough though, but
Well, I mean, he was an MMA fighter. I mean, I think you got to have a little bit of toughness to be successful in that. To be determined, I guess, right? That guy, woo. Yeah, that guy's scary looking. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a wrestler for a long time. I may or may not have watched a lot of him in WWE. So,
I think I stopped watching by the time he came along.
Yeah. I think he started in like 2002.
Yeah, because that was probably right after really the Monday Night Wars. And so I think I kind of stopped watching after that.
Yeah.
I started having kids. So my Monday nights or any night watching wrestling, I had to grow up.
Yeah.
Not really.
I didn't have to grow up. I actually stopped watching for a long time, just because it was not fun to watch anymore. And what got me back into it, and I don't watch WWE anymore, but what got me back into it was after we had our first daughter, I think I would stay. My wife would go to bed like super early because she would wake up like in the middle of the night to feed my daughter. And so I would just be there by myself, and I'm just like, okay, well, I can't watch the shows that we normally watch together, so I've got some time to kill now. I'll just watch some wrestling.
You might as well.
And I got back into it for a while on WWE. I think that was back in 2016, and stopped watching it a couple of years ago just because it was not fun to watch.
Yeah.
I do watch AEW now.
Do you?
Which is on TNT, which is what WCW used to be on.
Right.
And I'm enjoying that. So
I got into WWE with my son a few years back. I think it was during Roman Reigns' big push.
Oh yeah.
Which is probably around the time you were watching.
Yeah, probably around there.
Right around there. So, yeah. We went to a wrestling. I took him to a wrestling event.
Oh, nice.
He had a blast. I did too. It was actually kind of fun.
The events are pretty fun.
Yeah. So we did that, and I went to Royal Rumble one year when they had it here in town.
Hey, I was there too.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. Did you really go?
I did.
That's hilarious. I didn't know you went, and you didn't know I went. And here we are.
Well, but it was when I was in high school.
Oh, so this was okay. So this was not a recent
school.
one where they did it.
Oh no. This is years ago. This is back in high school. So you were in middle school, I believe. I'm a little bit older than you. Yeah, someone you probably know the guy or remember him, but he calls me up, and I didn't hang out with this dude, but we were always cool. And he just calls me up and says, "Hey, man, I got an extra ticket. You want to come with us?" I was like, "Yeah." And so that was cool. That was cool going to a big event like that, like a pay-per-view event. That was really neat.
Oh, so that was back in '97.
Yes.
So I went in 2017 to the Royal Rumble. So that's pretty funny.
Okay. That's cool though. I mean, it's 20 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not going to bring up names just because it's probably best that we don't. He'd probably beat me up right now anyways.
it's for the best.
Yeah, it's for the best. So what do we got on the news front? Why don't you start?
Yeah, let's get into the news. So I couldn't believe this when I read this. I was like, I've got to talk about this on the show. So Fiat, not a big American brand, or a big brand in America, I guess I should phrase it. And this car is not coming to America, just a couple of European markets. But and the thing that's not interesting to me is that it's going to have Google Assistant and Android Auto, and have all the normal Google things.
Right.
But so this is called the Google Assistant, or the Hey Google edition of the Fiat 500. I was blown away that this exists. Not that I would ever buy this in any way.
No.
But the thing that blows me away is that they added styling by Google. So above the headlight, there's a Hey Google badge.
Right.
In the seats, there's these colored dots. And it turns out the dots are actually, they spell out Google in Braille.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. But they're multicolored, and they're, inlaid in the middle of the seat. It's a white car. It's got the colored dots on the, yeah, there you go. It's good that you show it for those who are watching it on YouTube. Excuse me. It also has the dots on the B pillar, which is the pillar that's usually by your head.
Right.
When you're in the front seat. It's just like, why? Why does this exist?
Yeah, I wouldn't really call that style.
No, it's styling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination of Google and Fiat. I know. So I think Google uses Chrysler vehicles for their Waymo, which is their self-driving vans and stuff like that. And I
Right.
think Chrysler and Fiat are owned by the same company, possibly. So there could be some sort of brand synergy nonsense. But I was just more than anything, because I would never buy this car, not just because it's a Fiat 500, but why would you want a Hey Google edition car? But like, why does this exist?
Because there are geeks out there that will buy it.
I'm like the biggest Google nerd, and I would not buy this car.
I know, but you're a good nerd. There are people out there that are going to spend their money on.
Yes.
Well, I mean, and I guess that's probably the reason why it's not going to be released here in the States. Is it's because nobody here will.
Well, the Fiat brand's not very big here either. So
No, they're
Beyond-
tiny cars.
yeah, they are smaller cars. But yeah, that I just was blown away that this exists, and I thought I would. This seemed like the best place to talk about it, because if I talked about it with anybody else, everybody else would be like, "What are you talking about? Like, who cares?"
Who cares about a Google car? I mean, the concept's kind of interesting, but I mean, to put it all on a car like this and the dots, and it's just a little overboard.
Yeah, I think if it were to, and I don't know how, in what way it would be, but if it were to be, have more Google in it to make it feel more like a Google car, maybe I could see like going all in on it, but it's like they kind of put their foot into the water, but they didn't like go full bore. It's like, if you're going to do it, just do it.
Right. Yeah, it's a very interesting little vehicle.
It is what it is.
But that's what we do. We bring you the news, and we bring you
Weird stuff too.
weird Google cars on a Fiat.
You're welcome. So the next one I thought was interesting. It's not like a brand new concept.
Right.
So Google, they have a group called, I think Area 120, where they just
120.
kind of let people go and create new things. And
Right.
like I said, this is not a new thing. This app lets you scan documents, which is not a new thing. Like I said, it's called Stack. But the interesting thing about it, at least to me, so I don't scan my documents with a phone or my receipts, but people that do, what's cool about this is that you can scan those receipts or documents with your phone, and it will auto categorize them for you to make it easier to find them and make your documents searchable through this app. I just thought that was pretty interesting that they're using, they say AI, but let's be honest, to me, it's not really AI. It's more they're reading the characters on the document. They're reading the words, and they're putting it, into categories based on that.
Right. And I'm gonna tell people out there that there is a difference between taking a picture of your document and scanning your document on your phone. There is a huge difference.
Yes.
I've had in one of my past lives.
I feel like this is a pet peeve, Jeremiah.
It is a pet peeve. I have been a mortgage lender, and
I know where this is going.
it's terrible. I don't need pictures of your documents. I need actual PDFs. Scan the document. And if I'm going to keep going, I don't want a picture of your bank app. Don't screenshot the bank app. That doesn't do me any good. This is what I have in my bank. Oh, that's nice, but an underwriter that's going to lend you thousands of dollars does not want a picture from your app.
Thanks for nothing?
Yeah. Can you send those again and actually scan them this time? Is usually the conversation that I would have.
Yeah.
With individuals in regards to that. So that was my little preaching section there. Know the difference between scanning documents and taking pictures, and have good lighting. Come on.
And if you have to do that, I recommend the Microsoft Scan to PDF app. It is really good. It'll scan everything on there and essentially reformat it to be as a document.
Right.
It's really good at what it does. But
Yeah. So I'll get off the soapbox. Okay, so this next one actually is kind of interesting here.
This
Because
is hilarious.
we're on YouTube, and who knows what people are going to find about us,
Yeah.
right?
I feel like I've shared more on this podcast in the last 8, now 9 episodes than most people probably know about me.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now we all know that you're going to be on vacation next week. We all know it.
Yeah.
We all know.
Good luck with all the cameras and alarm system.
Well, and I will tell you, like, what am I supposed to do next week?
I think we can figure out how to record an episode.
Are we?
You're up for that? Maybe we can do something.
Because like when I took a week off, I took a week off.
Yeah.
We'll see how. Are y'all camping?
It may not be as long. No, we'll be in a hotel. It's with my dad, so.
Thank goodness. Camping is terrible.
You hate camping?
Oh, have we not had this discussion? We haven't had it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I am totally against outdoors time.
We've got an anti-camper here. That's interesting.
Number one, I'm allergic to everything outside.
Yeah, so am I.
Highly allergic to everything outside.
I'm like dying right now with all the pollen in the air.
Me too.
Even though I'm on 3 allergy medicines. One is a nasal steroid.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm always on a nasal steroid, which is great. I love it. I tell people if you need allergy relief, you do go through the nose.
It's the quickest way to do it. Although you have to do it several days ahead of time, and I ran out like a week ago, and so I'm only like 3 days into my nasification is what I'm going to call it. All right, back to the news.
Okay, all right, yeah, back to the news. I'm sorry, I'm against camping.
We sidetracked.
Yes. So police. We didn't even get to the article yet.
No.
Love it.
So we should probably get back to this.
That's another subject on another day. Police say they found a mafia fugitive on YouTube posting cooking tutorials.
My favorite part about this is not just that he was on YouTube, but he was posting cooking tutorials. Like, he loved cooking so much that he just had to share his recipes with the world, even though he was a wanted fugitive.
And his tattoos are what gave him up.
Yeah.
Like, but who figured that out? Like, I don't know any mafia fugitives, let alone that they're going to be on a YouTube show I'm watching.
I don't know how much access the FBI has, or I guess this was Interpol because this was an Italian mobster, but I don't know how much access police or federal investigators have in general to YouTube. They have some like special like tattoo algorithm that they run. I'm just making stuff up. I doubt they have anything like that, but I bet they were searching a lot for this guy. If he's a fugitive and they're trying to take down this, I'm probably going to butcher this, Ndrangheta criminal organization in Italy.
Right.
Yeah. So they've been trafficking. I think they're the leading trafficker of cocaine in either Italy or Europe.
That's crazy.
So they're trying to get these guys pretty hardcore. And if you're a fugitive, maybe just don't post your cooking tutorials.
I mean, come on. I'm like Walt never did that. Walter White did never post any YouTube videos.
He did not.
I don't think. I'm not done yet. I'll let you know when I finish.
Oh,
whether he did or didn't. Don't spoil it for me.
Spoilers.
So it says here that he always hid his face.
Yeah. He never showed his face on camera, and he didn't always show his tattoos, but he would show his tattoos, just because he's not covering his arms up all the time. But he was hiding out in the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
So he had good enough internet in the Dominican to post these YouTube. I want to watch one of these videos. I wonder if they've taken them all down.
Well, how do you're hiding in the Dominican Republic? Like, I'm surprised he got extradited, to be honest. But he's hiding in the Dominican Republic and then decides, I'm going to post these to the World Wide Web. That just blows my mind. You're already halfway around the world. You're not being caught.
Yeah. Like, just stay hidden for a while. But like I said, he loved cooking so much that he just had to share his recipes.
Yeah, we have to see these videos, and we have to try a recipe. I think we really do.
Yeah, it must be good if he wanted to share them.
It has to be. Has to be. That's crazy.
Yeah. Not technically technology related, but kind of.
Yeah. Almost YouTube related.
YouTube related. We're
right.
part of YouTube.
There you go.
I'm on the YouTubes.
You are really,
as old people would say.
You're doing better than
our show.
Than our show, but again, that's a topic for another day.
People just like watching my kids. It's weird. I think there are just a lot of weird perverts out there.
There could be. Well, I mean, we know they are, but okay. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about.
We won't go into how many videos we get watched from other random videos.
Yeah.
On our channel.
It's not good.
So this one, here's the deal. I picked this one. I probably never buy this, but I like gadgety stuff. Like, just give me something that's cool. It may not serve a huge purpose, but I like gadgety stuff. This is by Belkin. It's a face tracking iPhone stand that always points at you, which sounds really cool. I like the fact that it'll track you. I think the biggest use for me or for someone that I know would be for like recipes while they're in the kitchen or something. I think they limited themselves by making this. It only works with the MagSafe connector, so it only works with the iPhone 12 and possibly up.
Right.
If Apple continues with those, but it's the fact that it'll rotate around so you can see it no matter where you are in the kitchen. You don't have to, run back to where you were, strain your neck to take a look at it. Seems really interesting to me. I think the biggest disappointment is that you can't use it for video. Like if you're doing a video call or something, it can't track you that way because it's using the front-facing camera to track you in an app by Belkin that's on your phone. So I think that's like the biggest disappointment with this. But I like gadgety stuff, and this is one of those gadgety things.
Well, this is probably just an introduction to try to get this technology out there. I'm sure they'll make it better.
You gotta imagine they'll make it better with iterations down the road. Something that doesn't rely on your phone's camera to do it.
Right. I mean, it doesn't appeal to me because, to be honest, like I don't use my phone unless it's close to my face. That's because I'm old, I guess. Right. So I need a bigger screen.
Yeah. My wife uses her phone for recipes all the time. So.
Well, I do too. I like Pinterest. I pin a lot of my recipes. So I guess that would make sense. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
What I think.
It doesn't. I would never use it either if it was iPhone only. But
yeah,
I think it would be more useful if you could do it for like video calls and things, to where it would kind of follow you around if you're trying to do something in the kitchen, or maybe you have kids and the kids like to move around a lot. I know there are other solutions to this, like the Amazon has their face tracking Echo Show, and some other apps can kind of mimic this by zooming in and zooming out using the standard camera. But I just like gadgety stuff, so this was interesting to me.
It is interesting. I think that's, again, it's their first step into it, and I think it'll expand and get better.
It'll only get better or worse from here.
Yeah. And one of your favorite subjects is our last article here.
It's true. I do like talking about SpaceX.
I know.
So as I think we talked about, I don't know how many episodes ago, their Starship SN10 landed successfully, but exploded after it landed.
So was it really successful?
Up to a point. This one, what's interesting to me is that they tried to do it completely foggy. So they did a webcast. I didn't actually watch this one. They did a webcast, and you couldn't see the starship at all from the webcast. The only view they had was inside the engine compartment or bay, and so all you could see was the 3 engines. And so like 5 minutes and 47 seconds or 5 minutes 49 seconds into it, it just cuts off. So at 5 minutes 47 seconds into the flight, they start to light one of the engines for reburn to land, and it just exploded into a bajillion pieces. And it was apparently just raining Starship all over the ground, which, you know, we've all been there, right? We just had one of those days where it just doesn't work out.
Yes, and even with multi-million, billion-dollar pieces of equipment, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious if this will slow their or delay their next flight of a Starship. If the FAA is going to be like, you know what, maybe we should do a little more investigation into what's going on. Every time one of these explodes, the FAA does an investigation. This one exploded in the sky, so it may be a longer.
Well, but I mean, I don't know if we need an investigation every time, but they're learning from it.
Oh yeah,
obviously there's tons of data that they're getting off this, so we want to move forward, but it seems like there are entities that want to slow it down.
The FAA was not designed for spacecraft to be launched rapidly, and really until SpaceX came along, and with their Falcon 9 platform over the last like 2 or 3 years, nothing's really launched at any sort of quick pace.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's completely new to the FAA, and they haven't changed any rules or redesigned how they do their certifications. So maybe that needs to happen, and I don't know. We'll see, but
we'll see.
They're all just trying to protect the public.
Of course. There was nobody on the plane, or spaceship, so.
There was nobody. So I forgot to include this, but I thought this was kind of interesting. This is not really news per se, and I don't really want to get into politics about this, but I think this idea is fantastic. So there is a plan to add this as part of a bill or law or whatever you want to call it, to provide universal, affordable, high-speed broadband by 2030.
Oh, wow.
And the definition of broadband should increase under the new FCC.
Okay.
Right now it's 25 megabits per second down, 3 megabits per second up, which is pretty garbage.
Yeah.
If you have more than like 2 people in your house and you're all trying to use the internet at the same time, it's going to slow down.
It is.
It's not a good definition of broadband. So they're trying to get it to where it's 100 megabits up and 100 megabits down, which to me, most people could get away with using that without a problem. The 10 to 20 megabits per second that cable normally has as their upload is atrocious. It's just awful.
Right.
So I think them upping what they consider broadband will be a huge thing. But besides that, the fact that someone's trying to make affordable high-speed broadband for everybody in the United States, I think is a huge win for America. I personally, regardless of whatever your politics are, I feel like everybody should be connected to the internet at this point. Like it's a utility. It's a utility. It's just as important as electricity at this point. If you don't have it, you're falling behind. You can say, people in rural America maybe don't need it. False. Farmers now need it more than ever to run their farms, as well as so many other businesses that are run online. And just think of how many other businesses could start if they have really good internet in remote places. People in Alaska have atrocious internet. People in all parts of the United States have atrocious internet speeds, or none at all. Right. So I think having the government. I'm all about the government laying the fiber and then letting other companies use that fiber and compete for the business. Like to me, that's the way it should work. Like the government lays it to everybody's house and then let capitalism take over, and everybody does. All the companies that want to compete, they can compete and price however they want to price. There are places in the United States, I think somewhere in Utah, they actually have that set up. It's pretty cool in that there's a bunch of different companies you can choose from, and they all have different pricing, but they're all using the same fiber lines.
Right.
So I think, to me, that seems like the best way to go. That way you're not having to depend on carriers who have no incentive to do it. I mean, they've been given billions of dollars for years to improve internet, and we all know how that's going. It's not going real great.
Well, I think the pandemic kind of brought that to the surface with, everybody either working from home, but more importantly, there's even still now, there are kids trying to do school from home, and they just can't.
Yeah.
And it's sad. Kids are falling behind, and that's, no matter what you believe about the education system, I mean, we need some kind of way to connect.
Yeah.
When we can't go to a place. And so it's sad seeing that there are, and it tends to be those below the poverty line that are having that situation. So 100%, I agree with you. It's a utility. People need to have access to the internet, because it's where our news is, where our information is. It's where we can connect when everything else is down. So that's amazing.
Jeremiah says it. Let it be so.
Hey, maybe I'll run for Congress.
There you go.
Nah, I've been told I cannot. We won't go. That's another episode as well about what I can and can't do.
We won't talk about that.
In Congress is one of the things I cannot do. But let's move on to the main event. Again, I just got to say, our Desert Islands would rock. Our Desert Island series would just show how much, like, if we were stranded, it would be a party. I don't know.
I'd totally be fine with being stranded on this desert island.
I'm all for it. As much as I don't like sand, that's another thing I don't like besides camping.
Yeah.
So like camping on the sand would be like totally like my nightmare.
Yeah, I really hate the beach because of sand and all sorts of other things. But yeah.
But tonight, our top 3 video game must-haves.
Yes. These are not the best games or anything like that. These are all personal preferences. This is just like ones we would want to have on a desert island.
100%. So I'm old, so we'll start old school.
Okay.
Let the elder go first.
Please.
I'm going to take it way back. We'll go in the way back machine.
Back to 1981.
And when I play this game, I have to have the experience. Like playing it on a console, or I've even had it on my phone, it's just not the same. But Galaga, man, it's gotta be.
It's a classic.
The quarter machine, standing up, slamming on the buttons, moving the joystick left and right. Well, there's only one button, and moving that joystick left and right. I mean, when I worked, I had a stint at a movie theater, and we had a Galaga machine.
Nice.
And so we could play it. Well, we weren't allowed to play it, but I would play it whenever I knew it was my turn to play it. And when you took the money out, there was a button. It was like a test button, right? So you could make sure it was working, and you'd press the button and you get free play.
Nice.
So that's what I would do. And I wasn't like a master at it because for whatever reason, like I'm just not meticulous enough to really think about, like, every game is different for me. Like every time I play Galaga, I try something different because I'm just not, like, I don't know how to beat a game. So I never learn from what I did the last time.
Yeah.
It's just the feel of it, the sounds, that's just a must-have for me. The quarter machine, give me a 1 quarter and I'll just keep playing and playing and playing. Love it. I can play it all day long.
I was never very good at Galaga. I've played it several times. I've also played the I think Galaxian.
Yes.
It's like pretty much the same thing, but it's from Namco versus. Oh wait, they're both from Namco.
Well, like I think Galaga was first and Galaxian was second. I think almost like an upgrade.
Galaxian. So Galaxian was the first one. It's the sequel
okay.
to Galaxian. I just looked that up.
Sorry,
I did not actually know that.
It's been 40 years.
So yeah. So what's funny about that? So Galaxian, back when I was in high school, we had TI 83s, TI 84 calculators. Those like really nice graphing calculators.
Shut up.
But you could load games on these calculators, and I loaded Galaxian on mine and played it.
You're such a nerd. I would have totally been on that.
Yeah.
What?
It was pretty cool.
Man, I feel like now I didn't. My childhood sucks now. I didn't get to do that. That's terrible.
I just want you to know that I still have my TI 83 plus.
Does it have Galaxian on it?
I don't know. I forgot to take the batteries out and they got all corroded. So I'll have to.
Can I borrow that?
I'll have to clean off the terminals and see if it still works.
Amazing. I didn't know that. Man.
Yeah.
All right. Come on. You give us a video game because I'm going to start thinking about that all night long if we don't change subject.
Let's do it. So mine are a little more recent. This is probably the oldest. This is probably the oldest one for me.
You're old, Jeremiah. Let's get something a little bit better.
You're old, Jeremiah. So my first one is Tony Hawk's Underground. It came out, I think, in 2001. Let me Google it. Sorry, 2003. On the PlayStation 2. One of the cool features back then for this game. So I love all the Tony Hawk games, but one of the cool features for this is that you could put your face in the game. Like if you had the
Really?
I think you could upload it to like a special website for Activision or Neversoft, and they would put your face on the character. It looked terrible,
Sure,
but it was still like, hey, that's me. So I mean, you
did this.
Oh, I totally did this. I've played this game so many times. Actually tried to play it I don't know, a few months ago, just as like a fun sort of deal. I still have my PlayStation 2 sitting underneath my TV in my office. I have no way to hook it up to my new TV because there's no
RCA or
it does have like an RCA, but it doesn't have the composite cable.
Oh, composite. Yeah.
Which is what I had, which was what I was using for my PS2 most recently. But yeah, so Tony Hawk's Underground. If you've played any of the Tony Hawk games, they're just fun, arcadey skateboard games. But this one, like, in my opinion, it's not the best of the series, but it took it to a different level. So you play as a character. There's a story to it. You can be that character, obviously, and it follows your story through being like this guy from New Jersey. That's where it started. New Jersey, some like slum area, and then you make it to being like a professional skater and go to Russia and all these other sorts of places. You end up at the end, I think one of the secret levels was like a Kiss concert arena.
Really?
I'm not even joking. It's like it was like an outdoor venue, and you could grind on like everything, the stage, the truss.
What is grinding? It's not a dance move, right?
No, not that kind of grinding, Jeremiah. It's when you put your board is sliding on like a rail or concrete or a curb or something.
Yeah, I never played Tony Hawk.
What?
Never.
I mean, it came out in 1999, Jeremiah. You were young. You were young enough then.
Look, I tried to be a skater.
Did you really?
No, I think I got on a skateboard once.
Yeah.
And fell. Although, one of my classic movies is Gleaming the Cube.
Okay.
Which is a skater movie.
Yeah.
I think late 80s.
I think so.
Christian Slater. That was like all the pro skaters were in it. It was
Yeah, of
amazing. It
course.
was a great movie. That's my only step into the skating world. For whatever reason, I didn't even ride the ride at one of the amusement parks when they had the Tony Hawk ride. I didn't even do that.
Yeah. The one at Fiesta, Texas.
I think so. Yeah. Wow.
That's that. We'll say that's my number one.
All right.
My first entry.
There you go. So I'm going to keep it old school.
Please.
A little bit newer. NBA Live 96 on the Sega Genesis. Oh, only 3 buttons, the D-pad. Let me tell you, those were the good old days.
Those were the days when it wasn't that complicated.
Right. I didn't have to use my entire hand to push every finger to push a button.
Not just your entire hand, both of your hands.
And all 8 of my fingers.
Yes.
And thumbs. Anyways, NBA Live 96. It was one of the coolest NBA games. I was amazing at it. Simply amazing. If they had a championship, I think I could have made it far. And let me tell you something. I could talk some trash. I
believe you.
I would not only tear you up on the video game, I would tear you up in the living room about how bad you were. And my team, for whatever reason, was the Golden State Warriors. And had Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullins. And for whatever reason, they weren't, they were a good team back in the 90s. They never got far in the playoffs, never won a championship. But for whatever reason, I could not miss. Chris Mullins was like the best 3-point shooter. I'd get him in the corner and it would rain. And I would drop triple digits on you. And I would let you know how bad you were at playing this game.
Could you regale us with some of your best truth bombs?
I don't think that it would be very appropriate at this setting.
Okay. I feel like we'll have to find a copy of NBA Live 96 in a Sega Genesis. I think my parents have a Sega Genesis.
Well, I'm in the market. I haven't pulled the trigger. I'm thinking about buying one of these little emulators, right? That have
all
the old school ones on it. I'm really thinking about it.
You should do it.
I don't know. I don't have the time right now. That's the reason. I love video games, but it's just one of the reasons. Just time. Because if I get playing, I lose track of time. And
you do have time for your virtual reality poker.
I do have time. That's because everybody's in bed, and I'm the only one awake.
Yeah, perfect time for video games. That's pretty much when I play.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
I still play video games.
We'll see. I do. I play video poker. I'm sorry, virtual poker.
Not really a video game. I'll give it to you.
All right. I appreciate that. All right. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Burnout Paradise. Loved. I think I started playing Burnout with Burnout like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Loved all those games. They were all, tracks here and there. So it was all very closed off. Burnout Paradise came out for the PS3, which is what I played it on, and open world racing game. Blew my freaking mind. I've probably put like 300 hours into this game.
What?
Yeah. Well, so it came out in 2008.
Okay.
I had a lot of free time when I was 24. So I think I probably put in over 200 hours back then. And then they re-released it for PS4 a couple years ago. And I played it all again just because I love it that much. It's just, so I've read articles on this, and they really set the groundwork for what game companies still do for open world racing games. Mm-hmm. Like it was that transformative for racing games, like the open world nature of it, like one of my favorite parts is you get in there, you get to any stoplight and you press like the R1, L1 button, boom, race starts and you're going and you could take any path you wanted to. If you knew a shortcut, good for you. If you didn't, you could just follow all the rest of the cars. And that was a blast. And then it kind of worked the same way with the online play. I mean, you'd get in there with a bunch of friends or random people, and you would just someone would stop at a light and you would start it up, or you could set goals and do different things. You kind of create your own paths for certain things, have to go through certain gates to get to the finish line. But it was so fun. They added motorcycles, all sorts of crazy cars to this game. It's just so much fun. I would recommend it. If you haven't played it, get it on PS4 or Xbox or whatever your platform of choice is. I think it probably also came out for Windows. I think it came out for the Nintendo Switch as a re-release. So if you're into that, it's a blast. I think I put in another 100 hours when they re-released it. I just enjoy it so much. Great.
I love a good open world game.
It's an arcade racer too, so I guess I should preface that just so.
Did you have the steering wheel?
No, that's more simulated or simulator racing game.
That's true.
Yeah. I've tried to get into like Gran Turismo back when it was really hot and all that stuff, and it was like the racing sim of racing sims, and I was never very good at it. I'm not good at driving realistically really fast.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
I've learned my lesson. Now I don't do that in my own cars in real life. So
yeah, it's hard to make that transition.
I'm just keeping everybody safe. You're welcome. Arcade racing is the way to go.
There you
Nobody
go.
gets hurt.
Awesome. I have to say I never played that or any of the other ones. Can I throw in an honorable mention? Because thinking about open world,
please do.
Just kind of, I played the game, and it's not. I guess it's open world, but it's more of a MMO, multi.
Yeah.
Massive player online.
Yes, massive multiplayer online
RPG.
MMORPG.
Yes, there you go. And so I tried the Star Trek one.
Not so much.
Right, not so much. But I will say, and I had to stop. Like I had to take it off my computer because I would spend way too much time playing, and that was Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, Knights of the Old Republic?
No, it's The Old Republic.
Are you sure it's not KOTOR? Knights of the Old Republic?
Is it called Knights of the Old Republic?
That is the one I'm aware of.
They rebranded it, maybe.
Maybe, but yeah,
there is Knights of the Old Republic, and then there's the Old Republic.
I'm not aware of the Old Republic, just Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, I looked it up online just to make sure I did it right, or said it right.
Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah. Did you play that?
I don't think I played either one of those games. Knights of the Old Republic is revered. I mean, people love that game. People still play that game 20 years later almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the MMO is the Old Republic. Yeah. Which is, I think, a play on Knights of the... It's part of the franchise or whatever. Because I think the Knights of the Old Republic was a series of games. Because you didn't have to be a knight of the... I mean, the Old Republic, you could be Jedi or bounty hunter or Sith, and I spent hours, and it was not healthy for me.
I feel like most MMO RPGs are not healthy for most people. It's a huge time suck.
It is, and I could just play it and play it and play it, and let me tell you, it did. It's like a lot. I had to really come to a decision, I should be working, because this is part of my also past life where I was self-employed, and
I can see why you're no longer self-employed, Jeremiah. You went to the movies, you played video games.
Let me tell you, man, it's a lot of work to be self-employed. So
why work when I can play?
There you go. Which, I wasn't doing it on someone else's time. It was my own time.
That's true.
Now I couldn't sit like for 3 hours and play, but I would spend an hour here, an hour there, and so it added up a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my honorable mention. Like I could probably still play it today if I allowed myself to download it and get to it. It's terrible. I had a bounty hunter and a Jedi that was getting up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Since you have an honorable mention, I'm going to do an honorable mention.
Go for
it. Mine would be Company of Heroes, which is an real time strategy game, RTS game.
Ooh, I love those.
It's a World War II based RTS. When did it come out? I'm glad I have the internet in front of me at all times. It's quite fantastic. Came out in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So 15 years ago. My dad and I still play this on a regular basis together. It's online, so we get to play no matter where we are, and we still enjoy it a lot. There are other people that still play this game online. I'm shocked every time. And what's cool is so they moved it to Steam, and then they allowed people to make new levels for it.
Oh yes.
So they opened up like a whole new possibilities of what you can do, and so people have added so many more fun levels to play online. It's kind of given it new life, and so we've literally been playing that for 15 years. So it's been a blast.
I love a good RTS. Let me tell you. I do like that they, especially these older games, they're letting them, they're re-energizing them and letting you add the mods to it and make it a different experience than what it was.
Let the fans take over if you're not going to do it.
Exactly. And so my number 3 is the Command and Conquer series.
Oh, the whole thing.
Well, and I'll say I like Red Alert better than the Command and Conquer. And what's been sad is that since Windows 10 came out, like I've had this for every PC platform since Windows 95.
And apparently it worked on MS-DOS.
I may have had the first one on the MS-DOS, a Red Alert on MS-DOS. So the Red Alert series, I will say, is more fun because it puts you as an Axis or an ally, almost like a World War II, World War III type.
Yeah.
You got to collect your resources, you build your armies, and I mean this. I have spent hours and hours playing. When I got cool geeky friends in college, and we learned to network our computers, we would play each other in the dorm, and just oh man, and I've missed it for years. They re-released the first Command and Conquer for the Windows 10 platform, and let me tell you, every once in a while I go back and research to figure out how I can make it work on Windows 10, and it is very difficult to do, I will say. So they're kind of slowly recoding it so that it'll work on the Windows 10 platform, which by then we'll move on to the next Windows. But man, love me some Command and Conquer, and they had the little video.
Oh yeah, the cheesy like real-time videos.
Yes, and it gets you all excited, and they had it's just so much fun. I just really enjoyed those series of games. And those are another thing I can sit there and play over and over and over. Yeah. And then when the AI got better, it just made every time I play. And right now, actually, I'll be honest, I play Rise of Nations pretty much all the time on Steam.
All the time.
All the time. I think Steam will tell us how many hours.
Yes, it will. That'll tell you how much of your life you have wasted.
I'm gonna look it up, and I will share.
I don't always like to know.
I haven't looked in a long time, and I don't know that I really want to share this. Holy crap. Oh, I've already said something, right? So I got to share it.
Please. Are you wondering? I am now curious. I'm assuming it's several hundred hours.
You would be, I guess you could say several hundred. I've had this for a while now. Can I just say that? It's been a while.
Please do.
1,158.4 hours total.
Whoo!
That's a lot.
It's a little bit of time.
I don't want to have known that, and I don't want to have really shared that with the world. This is probably one of the few times I will say that I'm a little happy that my wife has yet to listen to our podcast.
She may be a little shocked and be like, Jeremiah, we're going to need to work on your time management skills.
Wow. Craig, I need an intervention, man. I got to take that off.
You know, I'm gonna allow it to happen. I'm actually disappointed that I can't see how many total hours I played of Company of Heroes on Steam. So, I mean, I can see it was 336 hours, but I know I've played it so many more hours. First, we had the discs, so before it was even on Steam. And
this is all on Steam, by the way. This is not. I had this on disc before too.
Yeah. So, like, I just want to know, like, how much cumulative time I've spent on this game, because I would probably guarantee you I've probably spent close to 1,000 hours on this game over the last 15 years. Because a game we've had games that go from like 30 minutes all the way to like 3.5 hours. Like,
yeah,
it can be huge slogs depending on how you play it.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Video games, man. Here's the deal. Here's what I think about video games, because people give video games a hard time, right?
Right.
But to me, it's usually a more interactive way to spend your time than if you're just sitting there watching TV.
Yes.
TV, you can't say like, oh, well, I watch TV and I don't play video games because video games are stupid. But you know what? You're watching reality TV. I'd rather think and you engage my brain a little bit and play some video games.
See, and that's the way I feel. My wife doesn't feel that way. She has the opposite view. But I'll tell you, during the pandemic, what we came to realize was, with us being trapped inside for so long, playing with his friends online was really the only way that my son was able to really communicate with people. I mean, you know, nobody at that age especially talks to people. You don't talk to anybody on the phone anymore. And so he would get on with his buddies, and that's what they would do. Yep. And he had a blast, and it kept that communication open. It kept and he was able to express himself, and he was too loud at times, but I'll say it's probably what kept him pretty sane. As much time as we had to spend in the house and not going out doing things like we normally would. So, I mean, I think it can be a time sucker, but I agree with you. I think, there is some positives to it, 100%.
Totally.
And I don't blame violent video games for it. I played violent video games and I'm fine. Especially when you spend 1,100 hours.
Speaking of violent video games.
All right.
We're going to get into my number one.
The last one. Well,
video game.
I didn't mean to. That's a pun. You'll hear that in a second.
So my number one is The Last of Us 2.
Not one.
The Last of Us, the first Last of Us is a great game. Play the remaster on PS4 or PS5. You will enjoy it, I promise. Great story. The Last of Us 2 has been very divisive for the gaming community, if you will. There have been a lot of people who did not like the direction that they took with the characters, and I'm not going to spoil anything.
This is a recent release.
This came out last year during the pandemic.
Right.
It came out in June, which was just like perfect for me. Like I think it was June.
Yeah.
I loved this game so much. So what's interesting, there are certain games my wife will actually sit and watch me play. This series, she's watched both the games. She actually sat and watched me play this series because it's that cinematic, and it's, to me, that obviously you playing it is a lot more engaging, a lot more visceral, but these games the stories are so engrossing, and they just pull you. I mean, the fact that it's that divisive based on the story alone,
right,
I think says something about how good the storytelling is. I'm about to knock my microphone over. That I don't want to spoil anything, so it's hard to like talk about the different things, but Ellie and Joel are the two main characters from the first game. They do appear in this second game, but they also add another character named Abby. And the big interesting thing about the game is that you play as Ellie, who you played a little bit as in the first game, but you also play as Abby in this game. And without giving anything away, what's interesting about playing as these two different characters is that they're essentially enemies. And so you're seeing two different sides of a story from their perspectives, and you're playing it as Ellie in the first part, and you're just like, I need revenge. I'm super pissed at Abby and all this stuff. And then you play as Abby and you're like, holy crap. Like, I don't know how to feel right now. Like, this is so, it messes with your mind in a way I've never like felt with the video game. Like just having that complete twist on you where it's like, all right, you thought this was the story that was happening. Now you're going to see it from this other person's perspective, and you're going to realize, well, crap, like that's not exactly what happened at all. And
right.
It's just, I mean, and there's more to it. It's the writer of the story likes to say this is a story about the cycle of violence and how to break the cycle of violence, and things like that. But the gameplay is really good. It's very engaging. It's very visceral. There are very violent kills in this game. You can kill people in some very violent ways. This is not a game for kids in any way, shape, or form. This is definitely a mature rated game, but it is like engaging beyond like anything I've ever played. I always love what Naughty Dog puts out. They did the Uncharted series. I love all the Uncharted games.
Right.
That's the other series that my wife sat and watched me play just because the story's fun. It's more of like a Indiana Jones type movie.
Yeah.
Video game. But yeah, this one, they're actually turning the Last of Us series into an HBO series.
Interesting.
So yeah. So what's interesting about that is, so they're having the writer from this game, Neil Druckmann. He's helping Craig Mazin, I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, write the series. So Craig Mazin, I don't know if you saw the miniseries Chernobyl from HBO.
Yes.
Yeah. So he wrote Chernobyl. So it'll be interesting to see how this series goes. I'm super stoked about the series, but this game, like, I've played this game I think twice already, and I could totally play it. I'll probably play it again whenever they do like the PS5 upgrade for it. If they do a PS5 upgrade for it, just because I think it's that good. The story is that engaging.
Should you play 1 before you play 2?
Yes, you should definitely play 1 before you play 2. I mean, you could probably watch like a Let's Play or something, but I mean, it's not going to be the same thing because 2, while it stands alone and stands on its own, it really plays off of the first game, and that's one of the reasons why people dislike this one so much, because of how they made the characters in the first game, and they completely changed how these characters are viewed in this game. So that's
but that's great. That's what you want out of a
exactly.
series.
I don't want just like a continuation of like, oh, this was fun. Let's it's a zombie apocalypse. How fun can it be? But yeah, I mean, like this was I enjoyed this. Let's just keep this going. And Neil Druckmann's like, no, I'm going to subvert your expectations of what you think you want, and I'm going to give you something else that is more engaging and just better than I could have imagined it would have been.
Wow, that really makes me want to play this now.
You really should, and you can play them on super easy, so you don't really die very much. So if you're just in it for the story, you can play it on like the easiest level and still get the same enjoyment out of it. Just makes it easier to kill and not die and stuff.
Sure.
The games can be a little tough if you play it on higher difficulty levels.
What difficulty? I can't even say the word. How hard do you play it?
I play almost every single game on just like the default normal. I'm not there to like torture myself.
Right.
Like I don't want to do that. That's not fun to me. Like don't be the person who's like, if you don't play it on hard, you're not playing the game.
Like I don't play easy, but I don't play hard. Yeah, I like the default.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't finish games, so maybe I should play easy.
Sometimes like a game like this, if you know you're probably not going to do real well, play it on easy. Just enjoy it for the story, because really, while the gameplay is fantastic and being able to hide and shoot bow and arrows from the grass where no one can see you is awesome, and you not be detected, being able to just enjoy the story is even better.
So I will be excited when something like that can really be transformed to VR.
Yeah, I think it'll be a long time though, unfortunately.
I think so, but that seems like that would be pretty amazing, to be honest.
You would have, I think a game like this, you'd have to have a pretty wide open space to be able to like crawl and be prone and things like that.
Sure. Yeah, I am gonna make one when one of the kids leaves.
Just make a room VR.
I'm gonna pad the room.
That's a genius idea.
Because that's one of the fears I have about really getting really into VR right now, is that I am gonna hurt myself.
Yes, I have walked into things before.
Yeah, so I haven't yet. That's because I really just play poker.
Yeah,
but I played a little bit of Vader, and that's kind of my hesitation, is because I know I am just prone to breaking things, including my own body. So been a little bit hesitant getting too far into it.
I'm mostly afraid that someone's going to mess with me while I'm in the VR headset.
Who would mess with you? Would your wife do that to you?
Or she's going to sit there and take videos of me. But the thing about VR though, you're like so into it, like you don't have a clue what's going on in the outside world at all.
Oh, I love watching my son. Yeah, I love watching him play.
All the little things that you take for granted from your senses, they're like gone. They're in the game, and you're not aware of what's happening around you. Like even like when the air conditioning or the fan turned on, I was like, holy crap, it's like cold in here. And normally I'm like, it's no big deal. But when you're in VR and you're in this cold environment and you got a breeze blowing on, you're like, what the hell is that? Like, what's going on? Every little thing, it just messes with your mind.
It does, but it's so much. It's fun. VR is pretty cool.
It is a blast.
You got to try it. Well,
I think that's it.
That's a good episode.
I guess we'll let people determine that.
Oh, they will determine it's pretty good. I think we got a wide range of decades there. We covered in
all over the place. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, all of them.
Awesome. Well, again, as always, hey, let us know what you think. Let us know on YouTube, on our podcast, on Anchor, on Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast. That's where we are.
We're there for you.
That's right. Any last words?
Let us know what you think. Just leave a like, comment. Just let us know. We want to hear from you.
From the people. We want to hear from the people.
Tell your friends that we are mildly entertaining.
And next week, half of us may be coming to you from New Mexico.
Could be a special episode. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet.
That's right. So stay tuned. Check us out. And we'll see you next week.
Ta-ta.